The last couple of years have scarred everybody in Canada, regardless of their political stripes. And I think that Canada will never be the same again.
Hey everyone, William Diaz here with Rebel News. During Tom Morato's testimony in front of the Public Order Emergency Commission for the Emergencies Act inquiry that took place on November 2nd, I was able to catch Ontario Party leader Derek Sloan for him to give me his thoughts on Tom Morato's testimony, on what he thought of the Freedom Convoy, why he believed it is so important for the freedom movement to flourish in Canada, and a lot more. Once again, let me just remind you that the Emergencies Act inquiry is taking place because back in February, Justin Trudeau invoked a never-seen-before anti-terrorism law called the Emergencies Act, basically the successor to the War Measures Act, on peaceful protesters that were here to protest COVID-19 mandates. So yeah, let's take a look at what Derek Sloan told me. You were here today. Is there a reason why you showed up today while Tom Morato was testifying?
Sure. Well, obviously I've been watching this inquiry over the course of it, but Tom is a close friend of mine, and I just wanted to be here to support him while he gave his testimony. And really, it's an experience I think everybody should come if they can, even for a day, just to sort of hear the testimony. Obviously, people can watch it online, but to see it happen in real time is a real exciting experience. History is being made.
What did you think of the testimonies and the claim that were made today?
Well, I think Tom's testimony made some very salient points. One of which is that he saw things during the convoy that made him basically afraid of our own country and our own government. Which as a veteran, he never thought he would be afraid to live in Canada.
And I said, I spent 25 years of my life in the military, and for the first time, I'm actually afraid in my own country.
There's also the idea that the opposition parties in Parliament were not doing their job. They were not standing up and saying anything, whether it's Conservatives, NDP, any of the opposition parties. I think his testimony was very good. We saw, some different viewpoints today from different people, but overall, I think the truth is coming out, and I think that's the important thing.
You were a candidate that ran against the other party. You wanted to replace Doug Ford, basically take his position in Ontario. We saw Doug Ford was summoned to testify at the inquiry, but is trying to challenge that in court. What are your thoughts on this type of behavior?
Well, he's afraid. I mean, his political ideology as a Conservative, particularly his own brand in the city of Toronto, is for kind of the blue-collar person, for the trucker. But he was, forced by bad advice or through whatever means to go against this, and now he doesn't want to bring that up. He doesn't want to show what was going on behind the scenes. I think he's being a coward. Frankly, he needs to come here, and he needs to stand up and speak to what he has done and take the consequences, whatever they may be.
And while you were campaigning, I know Tom spoke about seeing people who said that they were scared of the police, they were scared of the government due to the way they acted during the pandemic. Is that something that you've seen as well during your campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that the last couple of years have scarred everybody in Canada, regardless of their political stripes. And I think that Canada will never be the same again after having seen, what we've seen. And so I hope that we can heal, together as a nation. And I think that inquiries like this are bringing the truth out, and I hope that we reflect on it and make the appropriate changes that are necessary.
Do you think there's a way that we can heal from it?
Well, part of it is recognizing what we did wrong and making the effort not to do that again, and helping people who were harmed by that. So you look at some other provinces where the premier in Alberta Premier Smith is saying, hey, maybe we can give back pay to people who have been fired for non-compliance with vaccine mandates. There's also outstanding tickets. So there's people in Ontario right now who still have tickets from COVID infractions that are still in court and are still, needing to pay legal fees and fines for that. There's still nurses and doctors who are being investigated for not towing the government's line when it comes to COVID-19. So the first thing we could do is get rid of those tickets for people who have been, were fined for breaking government mandates. And then we could also look at how do we create systems, how do we make our public health agencies accountable to government, how do we teach government to actually govern and not just divest their authority to unelected bureaucrats. There's a long conversation that needs to happen, and this is part of it.
Do you think the way Danielle Smith is governing in Alberta, saying that there will be COVID, not an amnesty, but, apologizing for the way the government has acted in regards to COVID-19 mandate. Do you think that's a way that other provinces could also act to make things better?
Absolutely. I think we need to examine the science. I think we need to examine whether these measures actually did the good that the governments were claiming they were going to at the time. And if they didn't, there needs to be an apology, and there needs to be an effort to try and make up for any damage that those mistakes have caused.
Well, there you have it, folks. Here's our full interview with Ontario Party leader Derek Sloan. We were also able to welcome him in our evening live stream.
The light bulb has sort of come on during COVID. And a lot of these people see similarities with sort of what the government has done during COVID-19, especially, how they responded to the Freedom Convoy and other things as being exactly the types of things that they saw and experienced under communism. So I think these are lessons that we all need to consider, and it's good to see that so many people are waking up.
If you want to make sure to not miss something like this again, make sure that you go to truckercommission.com and stay tuned for our evening live streams that are happening from 6 p.m. Eastern Time to 7 p.m. Eastern Time every single weekday. Thank you for watching. This was William Diaz here with Rebel News. Once again, if you want to support our independent journalism straight from Canada's national capital for the next few weeks, head on to truckercommission.com.